Wassail! So, how are you all doing? We're doing Neptune, so I've got my Mananan shirt on to give it a little bit of a sea god feel. There's a lot going on. I spent the last 5 days just doing all of this digging and searching into things. So, Wassail, Penelope. Did you just sit there with a phone, Penelope, waiting? Wassail, Penelope. Wassail, Rada Romensa. Wassail, Laura Hernandez. Wassail 876 high. Wassail 7 Levant. Wassail cheers. Wassail Mel. Wassail Kim J. Wassail Tracy May. Wassail Charlie Douglas. Wassail Anupa Nangla. So I was at a Wassail Patrick. I can never say for some reason. Wassail, Corey, founders of light. I just saw your something about, I haven't looked at it yet, but something about victory. Let's hope that's in this, I have to say. Wassail, Laura Hernandez. So we're beginning with a little bit of melodic motion and singing to get the energies up. I'm just going to put a little bit more Palo Santo in the air with the big stick. So, because it smells so nice. I think I need to shut the door for the echo. Oh, I should have opened the window as well. For like fresh air. So, Wassail, Harlequins. Wassail, Neringa. Wassail, Tracy May. I think I did that before because I rhymed it with something. So, we got a little bit of Palo. Actually, while it's there, let's get the new deck. I've been working very hard on the new deck. I've been digging into separating all of the different zodiac signs into 4 characteristics, kind of like ego chaos and the kind of the self energy, this notion of the subconscious wisdom that's hidden inside us all, and then the gifts that you bring to the world when you're in alignment. So, yes, it's all about Null Island and the 6 God columns. Oh, I'm not going to put that back yet. Yeah, I am. I want to ring the bell. I want to ring Call Neptune in. So, Wassail Duchess of Elsewhere 77. Wassail Sarah Jacks. Wassail Angie 333. I'm going to do that again. That was like... It didn't make any noise. We need to really call in Neptune. Well, I just kind of want to say that there was something very spiky, very loud, very edged about that frequency. So, Wassail Upton, Wassail Marguerite Hughes, wassail Barbara, wheels are turning. Wassail Tracy May again. So, there's a lot going on in the world, in the cosmos, in our solar system. So, we're at Null Island tomorrow and the next day. And on the 1st of December, Neptune will turn stationary for about 3 days. And on the 3rd, Neptune will start to move forwards. And then we have the solar eclipse. So there's a kind of feeling that within these columns, Neptune really is in control. And there's something about ancestral energy clearance that's going on. And we've also got some other bits and pieces, but I think we'll just begin with, and I'm going to try and remember to timestamp. Timestamps, please. Remind me. Rubbish at it. So I think, let me move a bit more space. I'm just going to begin at, I've got a double-ended pen and it's fat and thin, and I always want the thin end. I only want the fat end to colour things in. And Wassail Steve Merley, Wassail Kelly Rose. So, at, let's say 7 minutes, we're just going to begin with talking to Neptune. So Null Island, for people that don't know, it's at the 0 degrees of both longitude and latitude. And it's just off the coast of Ghana, I believe. But it's a kind of mythical place. Wrong deck. We're going to start with the shamanics. Yeah, it is completely and utterly a double-ender pen. I am getting great at timestamps, but last time I forgot to bring a pen, which is always embarrassing because that's my last name. So I'm not taking that one. It's a Sweat Lodge. I'm just saying I'm not taking it because it wasn't in the frame. So Wassail Sigdom Levant. I think I've already said hello, but anyway. Neptune. We need to know about Neptune. Marina, aquamarina. I feel like it's he dives into the sea, into the world below, where magic and mystery are always around. So we have a single card for Neptune. Oh, see, look. Neptune is dealing with ancestral frequencies. So I think we'll keep that energy there. It's Neptune is the fog. Neptune is personal delusions. Neptune is all of that kind of energy of being unable to see something. And usually when things go into retrograde, everything expands upwards and you get that sense of being able to see. But I feel like Neptune brought up a great big misty wave. I don't know if anyone saw, it's worth looking up. Neptune appears in the sea at New Haven. Actually, let me see if I can find it for you and put a link on. I should be able to. So if you are able to, give that a little look. It was a photographer from the BBC taking photographs, and in one of the pictures, a wave hits a seawall and the entire wave becomes the face of Neptune. It's absolutely amazing. Wassail and a pink, wassail wild wolf woman. Wassail Kim J. I said hello to you already. So yeah, it's a really interesting image. Yeah, it really is, Duchess of Elsewhere. It's amazing. It's Neptune appearing in a mist, in a sea, in a wave. And what really made me giggle was New Haven in the UK is the seaport where I caught the ferry and left the UK to start on this journey. And it's just interesting that Neptune appeared there. So, Neptune, Ghost Dance. It's livers, kidneys, and spleen. It's this E flat. It's the idea of cleansing bloodline echoes that are part of your frequency that come from your DNA, and they've kind of made their way into your life. Wassail Laura Kavanagh, wassail Lucia McClough, wassail Stella Morris, wassail Goddess of the Garden. Just can't stop singing at the moment. So, Neptune. I feel like I'm just going to go into the new deck. So this is the Alchemy of Astrology deck. I'm working really hard. That's why I haven't been posting so much, because I'm trying to get all the cards into a shape with enough words on them that I can give you the document so that you can download it, so that you can begin to play with it yourselves. It's still under development in many, many ways. I haven't worked out yet how I'm putting houses on it, but I've got a vague idea. So yeah, oh yeah, it's Happy Thanksgiving, and you need to give thanks to the indigenous people who fed turkeys, I believe, to the poor early settlers who were starving. Wassail Zanoni snowflake, 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 wassail Empress. So we've got these cards. We want to know from these cards, what's this ghost dance with Neptune? Yes, it will be a really good deck. And my beautiful friend Debbie Angel is already, she started her document, she's working on it. So it's very, very exciting. Okay, so we've got two have jumped out. Right, so we've got essence. So this is the core. This is nature, your core nature. This is what, yes, you see, look, not what your DNA is telling you, but what in your heart and soul is your true scent, your true energy, your true aroma is what Neptune is trying to allow you to see. And look, if that's not a bit of a trident that Neptune would carry, I don't know what is. So Neptune, and then Moon in Pisces. Pisces right now is where Neptune is. Neptune is in Pisces and he rules Pisces. So he's in rulership. So this is that energy of passive sensitivity. There's something to do with this. There's something in this frequency, and the most important part seems to be the pineal gland. So let's ask about the pineal gland. Wassail Kathy, twitty, 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 twitty. You see, you didn't get a song last time, Kathy. This time you got a song. Right, so we have Mercury falling on the moon in Pisces. and it's the throat, and it's Quicksilver, but it was in reverse. I don't even know if I can read these cards in reverse, but there's something very important about looking into a kind of pool of Quicksilver. I'm not saying go and poison yourself by filling a bowl and staring into the Quicksilver for some kind of scrying abilities. That's interesting that it should be 963, because then that's a tester code, Laura. So we like that as a Hertz frequency. It hurts. Yeah, I love Quicksilver. There's something completely fascinating, and you do want to kind of touch it. When I was about 12, the science teacher that we had was doing some kind of experiment to create a thermometer, and as she spilled all the Quicksilver all over the floor, and we all had to evacuate the room while they cleaned it up. Wassail sacred Sirachem. I can't read the last three letters. NTR. So there's something about staring into a moving past, but that past somehow, because this is the energy of trickster, change. It's like staring in to your own past to see these ancestor energies that have woven themselves into your essence, and it's not your essence. So I'm not taking those, they didn't fall, they came into my hand. I want fallers like that. So it's time to compose your Philosopher's Stone. This is 7977, and your essence is 75, which is an earth essence number, an energy of connecting yourself to the songlines of the earth. So we're drafting, we're creating, we're forming, we're aligning ourselves to the prima materia. The prima materia is really all of the molecules within your body that create, that belong to the earth, that belong to not your essence, but the earth essence that you're dealing with. And you're composing a way to combine yourself and move forwards. Now, this, let me just, I'm going to open up a document I've been working on, but it's not finished. But the point of this document is that I'm preparing for each of the zodiac signs an area where your characters, things that are part of the energy of being born or having planets in the zodiac signs, being divided into the four energies of the magnum opus. And the point of the magnum opus is to create the Philosopher's Stone, to find a way to take your psyche and build it into its perfection. And you notice there are four parts here. There's two circles, a square, and a triangle. So we're looking at the energy, the negative frequencies that are part of our lives are our ego. They're the chaos that we're drawn into. And then you have the self-calm. So the self is the truer version of you that can calm down the ego. So that's the second part of this energy. The third part is the subconscious wisdom, the wisdom that's written within your consciousness, but it's confused because it's locked onto all these molecules that have ancestral blood echoes inside them. And then the last part is worldly wise, the gifts. Once you've found a balance between yourself and discovered your true wisdom that you bring to others, the light that shines from within you. And we're going to go on to that because there's an interesting alignment that's still underway that started on the 8th. Oh, I've thrown that too far away. I won't be able to get it back in a minute. So we're looking at how we build ourselves into the essence that we're meant to be. That's what we're being given a chance to do, to compose in Null Island. So tomorrow and the next day, ask your spirit guides, ask your ancestors, give me a dream. I've been having crazy dreams every day. And I've been going to bed and waking up feeling like I'd had a full night's sleep, coming round from a dream. I've only been asleep 90 minutes. And then I go to sleep again and there's another one. And they've all been involving ancestors. My mother was in one of them, driving a car like a maniac. There was lots of sort of broken physical money, twisted coinage. And then I had a dream with my brother in, which was all about him not being my brother, but about the potential of who dead ancestors and soulmates will be in future lives. And then last night, I was involved in some kind of strange ballroom dancing with someone who I didn't know, but I was like, we can do this. It doesn't matter that we don't know what we're doing. Just do the dance and run at me and I'll lift you up and I'll spin you round and round as the music ends and everyone will just clap. So this prima materia, resetting. Oh, you see, we have embers, card 90. So embers is that it's not ended. The whole point of this energy is it's not ended. There's something about turning this energy to this energy, spinning it round, hooking into a new frequency that's much more about the self and not the ego. You're composing, you're pausing. This is an energy of pausing. The embers in the fireplace are just kind of glowing, and you're deciding what of your prime materials, these elements that need to be alchemized, what energies, what atoms, what personality traits do you need to deliver into the fire to bring that energy back up? And it's coming with Eros, and Eros is sexual desires. Eros is kinks. Oh, there's someone knocking at the door, but I'm not answering it. I'm not expecting anybody. But there's something about knocking on the gate, because that gate there is where the spook was that I saw one evening. Anyway, I'm sure they'll go away. They'll just assume nobody's in. So yes, sexual desires. It's like unfolding of the truth, because the thing about sexual desires, about Eros is your true kind of sexual erotic language, the truth that's behind you. Yeah, Eros is knocking at the door. Oh, Wassail Eve, Wassail Jonathan Plum, Wassail Tanya, Guten Abend Tanya. So it's about a transformation, because there's something about, there's knocking at the door still. I can't go. I'm sorry. Doing a post, people. So these sexual desires, these kinks, this frequency of your, I want to say, your erotic truth rather than your desires that you've followed in the past that weren't your true desires. This isn't just kind of like, this isn't rutty sex. This is about actually having desires for life, having desires to move forwards, but they're free because you're freeing yourself from the energy of the past. I'm being told to point out this energies again, this notion of Neptune's trident being prodded to make these transformations. Yeah, it is. That's exactly it. Removing your your ancestral influence from your erotic truth. There are things you've been drawn to. Yeah, it's not Lenny Kravitz at the door, unfortunately. I think they've gone. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. So that's Neptune, sorry. That's Neptune's little moment just to bring us into the start of this. Now, what happens next is so glad I wasn't doing it out in the garden because they'd have heard me saying, I'm not answering the door. So we're going to look at the 6 columns. So, oh, that's the fat end of the pen. So column, let's read the columns first. So I'll just put the columns at 26 minutes. So the columns that we're coming up to, we've done the first, we're doing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So column 7 will begin on the 28th of November. They won't go away. I'm just going to have to just, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Knock what you like. I'm not coming out. So the 28th of November will be column 7, and that's Neptune. The 29th of November will be Mercury, and that's column 8. Now, previously, these two were the other way around, and I've been told by Spirit to swap them. So on the 30th, it will be Mars, and that's column 9, and it's that's on the 30th, so that's Mars. On the 1st of December will be Vulcan, column 10. And then on the 2nd of December, Jupiter is column 11. And on the 3rd, Apollo, the sun, is column 12. And then on the 4th, it's the solar eclipse. I will write all these down. They're already on the website. Yeah, Twitty, Kathy, I'm hoping it will come out here as we're doing part of this column work. At the moment, every single person's ancestral influence will be different. And so there won't be one solution, which is why you need to spend Null Island with Neptune and your ancestors, asking them and declaring to them that it's time to remove their influence. So, yeah, Wassail, Aquarius, Sol, Astro, Educadora. That was a tricky one. Yeah, Uranus, which is Gaia in my book, is in action in Taurus, but I think the action gets more interesting from the 19th when Gaia, Uranus goes stationary direct and everything shifts. And then Uranus is very much part of the frequency of next year's eclipses because the nodes on the 19th of January will shift into Taurus and Scorpio. So let's have a timing for Neptune is the first column, 7. So you're really spending 3 days with Neptune, and Neptune's a declaration. So let's have that at 29 minutes. So Neptune is column 7. So we'll give column 7 a shamanic card, and then we go into the other energies. Ooh. You see the clearance energy. Column 7 is a declaration. You've just spent, as we've just said before, you're choosing to compose a new essence without the ancestral energy. I'm not saying it's going to go away at that point, because eclipses and eclipse tunnels move for 6 months. So it's a slow, steady process towards the next eclipse. But you're being offered the transformation of a beauty wave. That's the point, a healing frequency from Neptune. So I'm going to put those decks down there so there's a bit more space here. Yeah, it's a declaration of Neptune, but you're making that declaration. It's a personal thing. You are choosing how to approach the next 6 months of your life free of some kind of ancestral energy that's been affecting how your heart resonates. And the reason I say that it's to do with emotions and eroticism with Eros is because remember on the 8th of November, we had that little moment when Ceres, the Moon, and Venus surrounded the Earth. They're going to be doing that. They're still doing it now, but they're going to be doing that on the eclipse. And so there's something about the D major, third eye, higher heart chakra, and the seat of the soul that is part of your emotional truth. It's a very beautiful energy. And they're just like a little triangle of planets in the heliocentric version, and they surround the Earth. And so they're pushing down all that very deep emotional energy. So you're composing your story forwards. Those have all fallen a bit much, but I think we're going to take them anyway. And then Neptune will declare this composed energy that you're seeking to move forwards in. And it's a bit like it goes down the line of the 6 columns. You're preparing, you've already prepared the goddesses, you're now preparing the gods, so that you've got the 12 frequencies moving to make you the 13th energy as you come out into the light. So, purify. 85 is a 13. So it's talking, there's something about this. There's something about this frequency of purification and change. It's interesting because the purification frequency is part of the declaration, but the purification aspect of it comes with Mars, the column of Mars, which is column 9 now because they shifted it for me. And then we have at the other side, it's Pisces. So we're back at that energy frequency of Neptune, and it's 12. So it's that release of some kind of old spiritual truth that's no longer serving you. So this is to be empowered. Also in alchemy, the projection part, the aspect of the alchemical process associated with the house of Pisces, is to do with how you have command of your philosopher's stone. And we were being told to compose our philosopher's stone. So this is about succeeding, creating, conjuring, having the will to bewitch, to alter, to charm. The idea is that when an alchemist has reached the Pisces stage of the process, you are now able to transform anything into anything else. So this is like Neptune is giving you the chance to compose an entire new frequency that you want to use as you move forwards in the next 6 months. It's like a beautiful cosmic gift. So we've got a few other cards that fell. So we've got Venus. This is one of the planets in this little triangle around the Earth. This is higher heart frequency, and this is F sharp. So, I don't think I've got my whistle here. It's downstairs. I have to find a keyboard on here. Oh, it's all spun around. There's the piano. Boom. F sharp, higher heart frequency. It's very, very rich. Don't worry, Kathy. I mean, if I'm interrupted, I'm meant to be interrupted, so don't worry. Wassail, clarity on an F sharp. So it's a very key energy. It's about reaching out to others, but it works in a D major chord as being part of the sacral, the higher heart, and the third eye, the intuition. So we have Venus coming in with this frequency. Copper is the metal that works with Venus, that wonderful tinted orangey pink frequency. The next one we have, again, we had Purify, which was a 1385, and then we have Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the bolt from the blue. Ophiuchus is the 13th sign of the zodiac that's used in some cases, but for me, Ophiuchus is more about an opportunity that comes along. So in astrology, some people can be born with a thing called a yod, which is the finger of God, in their birth chart, and at some point those planets will realign and activate the sort of the God frequency of super consciousness pointing at you. And that's really what this Ophiuchus card is. It's the snake bearer, and it's also the cosmic serpent, so it's our consciousness, and that's linked to Gaia, Uranus, and that planet is also just in this area where the triangle is surrounding the Earth. All of the planets like Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto and Mercury and Mars, they're all being held back so that this frequency of a kind of energy of us, our truth again, and it really is a kind of D major chord with the addition of the B, which is like a D major sixth, which is a beautiful, really beautiful chord. Oh, look, I can play it to you. Don't know whether it'd be loud enough. So you've got, oh, it's resetting itself. Yeah, yods are really intense. D of Ceres, F sharp, A. So you've got F sharp of Venus, A of the moon. And then if you add the sixth, I don't suppose that's loud enough and that you can hear it very well. Can you hear it? I'll just play it again, but I can't really hold it. Oh, hang on. If I put it on the bowl, it might be nearer to the speaker. So that's the D major chord. It's going to fall off. It's a beautiful sound. So really, it's a chord that goes into your body and just has such a beautiful, energizing, healing frequency. So this is also, Ophiuchus for me is the thread of divine galactic consciousness. It's a galactic thread of divine consciousness, okay? And then we have with that again, essence. It's saying we're trying to redesign our essence as we move forwards. And then this is like the wild card. Folus, the law of unintended consequences. I kind of just want to hold Folus there, and I want to put some runes on Folus and just see what it is that follows, because the law of unintended consequences is going to be different for everybody. So, yeah, sorry. So, Upton, I talk about Gaia and Uranus being the same planet, because when I do sound healing, the consciousness is linked to Uranus. It's the energy to break through and change things. And I feel that Uranus and all of the planets have both masculine and feminine energies, regardless of whether we've given them a male or a female gendered name. And so I know most people call the Earth Gaia, but I call Uranus Gaia because Gaia came before everything. And Gaia birthed Uranus, and then together they birthed all the other gods of the pantheon. And so for me, the Earth is Earth. It's not Gaia, but it's bathed in the energy of Gaia. So it's an aspect of. So, Folus. Yeah, we're redefining our essence. We're changing something about ourselves. So, Folus. Hang through. This is very much the frequency of, it's 12 frequency. It's static energy. This is Null Island in many ways, and then moving into this frequency of the 7th column with Neptune. You're hanging around with Neptune to change something about your essence, so that Neptune can make a declaration and pass it down each of the columns to move you forwards. And it's Odin hanging from an Yggdrasil tree. It's changing the very essence of our Yggdrasil. So you might say your Yggdrasil tree is an ash tree or a hazel tree or a hawthorn tree, but it's time to change the tree that grows. And then we have Ken 6, which is almost, there's something about it's a divine spark, but they're saying to me this frequency of changing something, of halving your burdens, of transforming, pruning, removing from the 12 so that you can start a new spark, a new divine torch within yourself. And then we have, it's so divine, we have Os. You are the vessel, and your conscious decision, 6 and 4 being a 10, your decision to change aspects of your essence is divine. It is this cosmic thread. It is this Ophiuchus frequency. Oh, pies are done. Eve, what pies are you doing? I'm going to make some, well, not necessarily pies, but the hostess of the house I'm staying in, she called by yesterday and she bought me lots of new kitchen equipment that I can use, which will be delicious. I can make a loaf of bread because there's a bread tin. So let's pop these back. That's the first column. The declaration is to yourself and to Neptune to transform some frequency of you. There will be unexpected consequences, but there's something about it that says that's the point of life. There would be unintended consequences, even if you did nothing, because you are meant to be heading towards redefining your essence. That's the point of this solar eclipse. It's to bring us all, after all these lockdowns, into a new energy frequency to move forwards into 2022, which is incredibly healing. So let's now move on to, I keep putting the wrong end of that pen because it's got the lippy lid bit. So Mercury is column 8, and we're looking at Mercury at 44:38. Let's do it 44:40. It's actually 44:44 now. So Mercury, column 8, on the 29th. So Mercury is the carrier of the message. I would say that Loki in many ways has to be involved because Loki is mercurial, Jonathan. So there is that energy of naughtiness. There we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm having two because one got caught. So the one that thundered down onto the table is thunder. This is, I'm being driven and drawn to the energy of the bison, being very Taurian, very as if to say that what you're defining as your frequency with Neptune is what will thunderously carry you towards the next eclipse tunnel, which starts on the 30th of April 2022 with the new moon. It's the other way around. It starts with a solar eclipse and goes to a lunar eclipse. But look, you will flow. Mercury's messages, you will flow in the next 6 months towards the things that you desire. But you have to define them. And it's 56, it's 11. It's changing it's like the Ophiuchus frequency that comes down through Neptune and the Beauty Way, which is the cosmic serpent, can connect and flow with the earth serpent of the energy of the earth grid, of the lines, the dragon lines, the song lines, the ancestral blood echoes that surround the world. It's kind of flowing through in the real world for 6 months to change your molecules, because your molecules belong to the earth grid in some way and they respond to the earth grid. So let's see what Mercury has to say. Mercury. I think that's Eros again. So we've got 3. I am fascinated the way these cards work. So we're beginning with Moon in Libra. And this is to feel ease. This is skin, kidneys, bladder, and veins. So it's the fact that it's going into the adrenal glands is again talking about this energy of cleansing, ancestral blood echoes. So it's not a rapid thing. It's something that will take place as you journey and thunder through the energies of this frequency that leads to the next eclipse tunnel. And then we have Eros again. This is what it's about. It's cleaning up your essence. Mercury is sifting down the energy into something that's like bite-sized pieces that can be performed. You've given the whole story to Neptune. It's almost a little bit like Chinese whispers. So Neptune's made a declaration and Mercury's kind of not misheard it, but has heard each of the steps and will take the first step that you need to move on. And then we have Chariclo. And Chariclo is the graceful enforcer of boundaries. This is about new boundaries being set because Neptune and you have made a declaration on what your new boundaries will be. You won't accept the old frequencies that you used to live under. So very beautiful energy, just reminding you that the way in which your world evolves and ticks is down to your declaration with spirit. You decide, spirit will guide. Hey, a little bit of poem. I like that a little bit there. I lost a comment there. Holy invigorating essence, Batman. I used to love the 1960s Batman, but only because of Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. I only liked it if she was in it. I've always had a thing for women kicking men in the head and punching them. If I'm honest. That's why I like Wonder Woman. So, Vane. This is Weathercock. Now, and this is 11. Oh, look. The bison, actually, let's do it that way. Which way are they moving? That way. 56. The bison are thundering in to change your direction. Mercury is about fluidity. Mercury is that energy of transformation, of change, of, as we talked earlier, I'm not saying you're all going to suddenly become a different gender, but what I mean is your frequency will adapt because there's a gender fluidity about Mercury. And so this energy is coming in to turn the weathercock. Weathercock about 130, 40 years ago was an insult. You'd say, oh, he's such a weathercock, meaning changes his tune and direction willy-nilly and is never true to themselves. Yeah, the energy of the bison is don't get in the way of it. So anything getting in the way of your changes will kind of be knocked out of the way. This is about you having this new magic inside you, and it's to do with the growing power of your own personal philosopher's stone. I'm just gonna shuffle. I'd like one more rune. 26 more runes. Oh god, it's 6. And there's one over here. There's one with weathercock. Oh look, see, this is Empress energy. Empress energy with Perth is this frequency of a cosmic surge. Mercury is kind of behind you, pushing on the energy of your cosmic surge to change. So Empress energy is always about when you were blocked, how flow returns, but it's flow in the physical. It's not flow in a high priestess frequency of something magical and esoteric. This is real flow in the real world. The direction of the wind is changing to bring you a new frequency. And it's 14, it's a 5, it's a change. The weather, the energy around you will transform and change. Now, let's just dive into these. I didn't want this to be a 9-hour-long video. So, Swelgeness, the past, the traps, the thoughts, the ancestral blood echoes, they were the traps. And they're coming with Hertecker, heartache. I'm doing this as a quick, because otherwise we're going to be here forever. So, the past has been the heartache, and the past heartache has been ancestral blood echoes in your DNA. And then we have fruit bearing, apple bearer, and it was for an apple that he took for Clark's Finden, reading the book. Deo gracias. So an apple in Old Anglo-Saxon was any fruit. So the idea is that your tree is about to bear fruit. Oh, and it's 49. It's another 13. We're getting this energy of breaking out from the confinements of 12 that somehow feel as though they were ancestral. The things that held you back, the things that stopped you from the fluidity of cosmic magic was ancestral. And it's coming with Watergefall. And Watergefall is the soluble aspect of how emotions can purify. And this is a divine 9. This is the energy of this. It's also the notion of the cosmic snake coming down. It's moving you into a frequency of flow. The Watergefall, the emotions flowing better. And then we have Oak. Again, this is support. Spirit is here supporting you. Mercury is here supporting you. Neptune is here supporting you. But you have to accept their support by telling them what it is you want, because they can't help you if they don't know what it is that you want. And then you have 33, which is to spear, to troth. This is opening and separating what was your ancestral blockage. And if you think of that, that's that Cairn spark, but the wrong way. And then your new troth to yourself that's coming with its new spark, with its own Gununga gap, that's free to have new energies. So Mercury is beginning the journey with you and moving you forwards, changing frequencies around you. Let's put the runes back in the rune, and we'll move on to column 9, which is Mars. How is everybody? So let's just pop these back into that deck. So I'm going to be doing a series soon on each zodiac sign and the 4 different elements of your ego, yourself, your wisdom, and your gifts. And that will come after we've finished with this solar eclipse. I'm glad you're glad to be here. So I will change the column names and the order on the website. So this is the 30th, and this is Mars, and this is at 5656. That's nice. So Mars on the 30th, and it's actually called war purification. So back in the days of ancient Rome, with the Ianus Neptunus, that space with 12 columns that we're working on, at the beginning on the 1st of the calends of March, that was when they had a ceremony to bless all the soldiers and give them the energy of Mars so that they could carry out their duty as soldiers. And then on the 1st of October, my birthday, which I didn't know until recently, not that it was my birthday, obviously, but on the 1st of October, that was when war season was meant to be over. And so they used to purify Mars out of the soldiers, because you can't have people living in society all fired up with the frequency of Mars. So this is the purification of war energy from the soul. And I think that part of the frustrations, part of the angers that are connected are again ancestral blood echoes that we've not learned to release fully. So let's see. What do you want to say, Mars? Because this is about Mars calming down. There we go. We've got a card for Mars. What is it? Oh, it's Lenny Kravitz. And it's a warrior frequency. But this is about switching from being the sort of aggressive, killing machine to being this is the frequency of love. This has got Eros energy pulsating inside its groin and belly. Wassail, Bridget, Wassail, Victoria K. We are well, yes. So we've got luminous warrior energy. So transforming from being an aggressor to being a pleasure giver, a pleasure giver. This is about giving pleasure. So we're going to go into here and find out what it is that Mars is doing at his column. That sounds a bit rude. What's Mars doing with his column? So, Wassail, Paris. I'm not having those two. They fell in my hand. They were compose the air, compose your thoughts. And that's part of it, but that's not the message. Can we just say how much this is about moving into a new erotic understanding of yourself? Oh, we've got a really big spillage, but it's really quite interesting. So I'm going to take the first two. Luminous Warrior and the Sun. This is the solar plexus. This is about purifying joy, but it's also coming with Eris. This is Mars's sister, and she is sacred rage. She's a different kind of anger. This is challenges that arise. So when Mars calms and purifies, there's suddenly new frequencies that we have to be aware of. And we have, I will come to the E in a minute, but we've also got Chiron. Chiron is about to go stationary direct on the 20th of December. I'm not sure, but it's something around then. So Mars is about soothing primal wounds. Soothing, this is a frequency where we're being calmed. Primal wounds are ancestral. They're in your DNA and they get triggered within you. So this is about bringing a purification to primal wounds. This is really interesting. And we've got Moon in Sagittarius. And the Moon will be in Sagittarius on the solar eclipse. And it's, again, liver, which is ancestral energies. We're trying to bring this new philosophical mission, yet again, that we've discussed at Null with Neptune. This is about moving that frequency forwards and purifying us. And we have, finally in this set, we have Vesta. And Vesta was, let me just look. I need to see where Vesta was. Which column? Vesta was the 6th column. Vesta was the energy just before you meet Neptune. This is the very last thing you get. It has a special name, which is Vesta Extremis. So she gifted you with the energy to create your philosophical mission. And this was coming upside down, as if to say that your old vessel needs to be emptied of the ashes and the soot so that you can move to bringing in a new frequency. Because after this purification, we have the frequency of spark. And I'm being reminded that Luminous Warrior is linked to the frequency of Ceres. And Ceres was column 5. Ceres is column 5. So we're still getting this energy all the time of Moon, Venus, and Ceres. It's as if the goddess energy is giving the god's energy a new way to program, to remind itself to release aggression. So let's just look at the two sounds that we're getting here. So we have E of the solar plexus. And we've got we've got a diminished fifth. Now, a diminished fifth means that the energies between these two, if you look at the 12 chromatic scale notes, E, if you count upwards, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and then you hit B, you hit the A sharp, B flat. If you come down the other way from E, and then you have E flat, D, C sharp, C, B, that's 5 again. So this is, it's a diminished fifth or an augmented fourth. And in the Baroque period, you were never allowed to play that tone because it said that the devil would enter the room. It was called the devil's interval. And so it was a banned frequency. And so there's something about it being, in truth, the exact midpoint. So you're clarifying, you're bringing a purification to your wounds. And that's the point of this energy of this column. I have to keep checking because I'm going to say the wrong date otherwise. But this should be the 29th. No, the 30th. The 30th. So this is the day, the purification takes place the day before Neptune will turn stationary direct. It's also magical. So let's have these notes. You've just written there, Stella, about loving Baroque music. It's there's a piece of music that they're telling me to tell you about. It's not necessarily Baroque, but it's by Handel, and it's called the Dixit Dominus. And it's a piece of music that he wrote that's full of the fire, full of this splendid frequency of luminous warrior, of the energy of Mars and Eris. So it's called Dixit Dominus. Dixit, Dixit, Dominus, Dominus, Dixit, Dixit. And it goes all the way through, but there's a particular movement that's incredibly sublime. If you can get a really kind of modern recording where they're a little bit better sung rather than woolly and wet. And it's called In Via Bibit, and it's got all these clashes that will really, they're notes that lean into each other, just a semitone apart, and they weave open, and that's got something to do with the frequency of soothing of Mars energies. Yeah, Dixit, Dixit, Dominus, Dixit, and it's by Handel. Ah, cool, Icarus. Wassail, Icarus, W. Yeah, the devil's interval scares people. I rather love it because it's waiting for. I don't know if I can play that close to the mic. It's a bit wonky, but it's waiting for resolution. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the resolution from aggressive anger to sacred rage, which will bring the emptying of the eternal flame so that it can burn anew within us. So here's the E again of the sun, solar plexus, the purifying. And then Chiron's at 8 degrees of Aries, I believe. And what's interesting is when you do this this change from the Devil's Interval, they move to E flat of Neptune and B of Gaia consciousness. So it's a really beautiful resolution that's waiting to happen within inside this tunnel, which we're calling the Ianus Neptunus. So I don't think that one needs runes. I think that fully explained itself. It's about purifying the warrior within us, purifying the anger. There's some really interesting energies coming up. I think it's on the solar eclipse, Jupiter and Mars. And I was talking with Misha, my friend, about it and saying I wasn't sure whether it was going to be, it could fall two ways. It could either be that it's the energy of Mars fighting to keep on and hold on to its anger, or it could just be the energy of Jupiter just coming in and suppressing that kind of aggressive anger. So that was that column. Now we're moving on to Vulcan. That's for all the Star Trek fans. So Vulcan is, I've done it with the fat end of that pen again. 1-1-1-1-1-2-1. Vulcan, the 1st of December, the day that Neptune goes stationary direct. So Vulcan is the spark. That once you're purified, you can, as we said, Vesta turns up and it's the embers being reborn. So the message is flowing through from the very beginning. Oh, it's Pachamama. It's coming back into the world in a new vital frequency. Interesting. So, which is there? Yeah, vibrational frequencies in harmony with our best intentions. Exactly, Parry. Take. Once the retrograde frequency is removed, we drift forwards in a new energy in the world. Really interesting. That's so good. So beautiful that the retrograde, the card of to remove something, removing the ancestors, removing the old frequencies that were holding us back. Oh, it's all fallen down below. I don't think I can reach it. So we are smack bang. 30th of November is when Ophiuchus season begins. 29th, 30th, depending on who you read. This is the point at which the cosmic snake comes down to meet the energy of the earth. And it's giving you a choice: fermentation or putrefaction. This is the point. And in many ways, the fermentation is you growing. The putrefaction is the removal, the taking away of the old ancestral energies that have been holding you back from your truer essence. So if we look at the putrefaction part, it's to break down, to rot, to blight, and to wither. You've got to let that happen. You've got to let go of those energies. And then fermentation is to dissolve, to metabolize, to take that energy and bring it into something else. It's almost, fermentation usually takes place when there's no oxygen. And so like when you make kombucha, there's a SCOBY on the top. and it stops the oxygen being there so that the carbohydrates can be burnt and changed into different kinds of sugars. And so there's something about, I can't even read my own writing, it's to invigorate and to energize. It's to bring a new life frequency. So this spark is saying exactly what it is. It's the point at which the cosmos, the gods that are overseeing this process through the tunnel, offer you a new frequency, a new chance to invigorate and energize your pathway forwards. So, yeah, kimchi is beautiful. And I will say, Haley, Wassail, Haley, Lucy, Paul. What's interesting about anything like kimchi, don't buy it from a shop. I don't know in certain places, but in Europe, the food industry has made them pasteurize all fermented foods before you can buy it, which means it kills off the natural fermentation invigorating energies. So you really do need to make your fermented foods yourself, because then you know that they're living with good biome. Nice. Bit of beer fermenting. It's all good stuff. Fermented foods are really great assistance for our biome. So we have ripen, mature, ferment, to make something new from something old, a change, a frequency of preparing to deliver your gifts. So this is almost talking about the energy of libido, the frequency within us that is our gifts to other people starts to come alive. You start to understand it when you've connected with Vulcan, when it's like having the fire in your belly return to you. And then we have oak. We're back to this thing. It's a new personal Yggdrasil tree. So these are both energies of ripening your personal Yggdrasil. And it's being connected to life, being in a kind of a celebratory energy of life. And then it ends with the future. This is towardness. You're moving towards something new. This is the briars. These are the thorns that once blocked the future. This is about unblocking, taking away the obstacles. What were the obstacles? Ancestral frequencies. I'm seeing a kind of energy of run into the future. And that's that frequency we had of thunder and flowing into something new. Skald is the Norn of the future. It's like being given a chance to create, it's like unpicking layers of your personal tapestry, embroidery that the Norns gave you, because it wasn't your tapestry. It was full of the tangles of ancestors. So there's something really cleansing and clearing coming up that will free you to move towards a better future, a cleaner future. And that's a 3 and a 2. That's a change. That's a change. It's like having a sense of joy in terms of what's coming towards you. I just split the deck just to see what the last card would be. And it's given me Flursa, which is 13 frequency, to flow. It's reminding us of that frequency. The whole point of this tunnel is to clean up staleness so that we can move forwards into a kind of philosophical mission or a manifesto of your life moving forwards without the pains, without the blockages. This is also it's the passageway of a girl into fertility. So in this sense, it's talking about men and women becoming fertile with their own dreams, being able to move into a frequency where you trust yourself because you've purified, you've got your luminous warrior, now you're Pachamama in, you're connecting with the earth frequencies. So let's put these back. Let's move on to the next column, which is on the 2nd of December, and it's Jupiter. Ba ba bam 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 ba ba da ba da ba ba bam. Wah 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 wah. That's Jupiter from the Planet Suite. So this is 1/20/30. Jupiter, Jupiter, what have you got for us, Jupiter? I love the Planet Suite so much. I particularly love the ending with Neptune and all of the mermaids. So if no one knows, in the Planet Suite, I wanted to say Handel then. Holst, the Planet Suite, is he was a Vedic, he learned to read Vedic texts, and he wrote a series of music that was about the planets, and every single piece of space music, Star Wars, Superman, all of that, it's all based on the energies of the suite of music that he did. And it ends with Neptune, and he used lots of very diverse instruments that hadn't been seen in orchestral settings before, celestes, or for a long time, bass oboes, bass flutes. And as Neptune, the mystic, comes towards its end, you're sitting listening to it, and suddenly you can hear this really high 6-part kind of strange chord, like mermaids singing in the distance, and you're looking around, and it was like 1914, 18, something like that. It was a very early piece, and you can't seem to work out where this heavenly siren singing is coming from. And backstage, hidden from the audience, is a 6-part female choir who represent the mermaids. And when the orchestra finishes, the mermaids get caught in this very watery, dreamy, enticing chord, just kind of going, oh. And it goes on, and there's no point where it says end now. But what it says in the score is slowly close the door to the room that the mermaids are in. And so it's a wonderful piece of music, because it's a rare moment in classical music where you don't know when to clap, because they can keep singing even when the door's shut. But it's so mystical, and there's a bubbling celeste that sounds like bubbles of water rising from the ocean. It's a great piece of music. Anyway, Jupiter is the bringer of joy in the Planet Suite. So, Jupiter, what joy are you bringing us at your column number 11? Ooh, an emotional completion. That's fascinating. And it's linking in to Ophiuchus and some kind of connection within, or a transformation of an old heart energy. This is magnifying emotions to bring about a completion. 619. Okay, so I'm resisting the temptation I have, which is always I always feel like I have to put 4 cards around completion to understand it, but we're not going to do that. Oh, thank you, Parry. Well, today I've given you Dixit Dominus and the Planet Suite as something to go into. Actually, when I was in Salia, we sat one evening with my very big Wi-Fi speaker. I very think it's about that size. And we listened to the entire Planet Suite looking at the heavens and the star-studded night. And it was incredibly beautiful. And it's such a powerful piece of music. I'm going to take that, even though it wasn't quite out, because I know what they're talking about. So I'm not taking all of those, but I'll take the one on the floor. So we've got a completion of the purification process. This was there earlier. You know, there's 92 cards here, and it's coming back to talk about purifying. And there's something about this energy being the snake working on us during this eclipse, solar eclipse in Sagittarius. There's something about it being part of that frequency. Oh, and look, 4114. It's a complete turnaround. It's an opposition energy. And here we have Mercury back. The message is being heard. Oh, no. I know what that is. It's Lilith. Let me see what this card is. If this is Lilith, then we're really giggling. No, it's where you come from. This is the time to purify the ancestral energies where you came from. This isn't saying about the conscious energies of your life in all your incarnations before you came here. This is talking about the frequency of your body and how that's affected your emotions in your life. It's ancestral energy coming away, purifying. Again, it's this strong message. It's time to let go of some of the ancestral blood echoes and purify them. So this 1441 or 4114, I can't remember what day it is. Let me just check. I can't remember whether it's the eclipse. Yeah, it's the eclipse. On the solar eclipse, so this energy has got something to do with a connection, because Mercury and Dark Moon Lilith go into opposition at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. That's what this was talking about. This Sagittarian energy to mutate something. And Black Moon Lilith, Dark Moon Lilith will be at 15 degrees of Gemini, opening up the space between to see something that's quite wounding, in that if you look at the solar eclipse as a birth chart, the sun and the moon are in house 12 and Lilith is in house 6, which is health. So there's something, an unfolding, a closing, a transformation, a tension to seek something new that's emotional, that will transform or will begin to transform on this solar eclipse, bringing the light back. And I do think it's got something to do with health. So let's see what the runes give on top of that. Oh, listen, Sea Symphony by Vaughan Williams. That beginning bit, behold the sea itself is gorgeous. And then I find the rest of the piece of music really annoying. When the baritone comes in, it's like, but the beginning, Sea Symphony, gorgeous. Behold the sea itself. You don't need anything else, you just need to see. So what have we got here? We've got the sea. We've got the cosmic lagoon. We've got the cosmic ocean. This is Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are opening to bring a gift. Opening to bring a gift. And there's something about this that's the opposition again, that chance to heal something. And And it's a completion and a new beginning, because it's 21 and 7. And that makes us a 10. And then 12th frequency. There's something about this day with Jupiter. So the second, because Neptune's still stationary, that it's almost like we have to absorb this purifying completion. So there's something about this is the last day when you need to just tune in to everything just being held by Jonathan. And that will be a chance, because there's something about the tunnel between a moon and a sun and the journey through this Ianus Neptunus that somehow will begin that transformation to allow you to move on, because the next column that we're about to do is Apollo, and it is the sun, and it's the day before the total eclipse, the solar eclipse. Oh, it is a total eclipse, but it's over the South Pole. So it's not like you're going to get to see it. So put these back. Let's put this back again. Starting a new job that day. See, look, it's all the right moments for bringing in new life energies, new frequencies. So we are now on 31, 31, 31, 31. I saw it at that. I know it's moved on, but I like that number. So, because it's 9, it's a divine 9. So this is the 3rd of December, and this is Apollo. Now, it's interesting that Apollo was the one that looked after Chiron. We are dealing with primal Chiron wounds during this and transforming them. So, here we go. Oh, look. Completion of the mystical shaman. It's interesting. Because we are all a mystical shaman. We just lose track of how to connect with it because we're pulled by our egos rather than by ourselves. So let's just rifle them again, because I feel like Apollo's. Whoa! Wassail, Scottish lass, wassail, vita natissia. Sure, I've missed loads of you, and I'm so sorry if I didn't sing you. This is moving forwards. This is the moment when your Yggdrasil tree, your life, your cosmicness steps forwards. That's beautiful energy. I feel like Apollo just wanted to give us another message. Hey! What have we been saying all the way through this? This is about finding your essence. You're not retrieving your soul. Your soul's with you. You're retrieving fragments of the ancestors that are trapped in the astral that need to be released so that you can continue your journey in your true essence. So it's interesting that 5-8 is a 13 and 4-9 is a 13. 13-13. Flow. Breaking free of the ancestral blood echoes that somehow keep you trapped. Wassail Tanya Ray. It is beautiful, thank you. It's not me though, it's cards. They're magic, especially this new deck. So, oh, Oi, 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 oi. They don't do that rifling too well. They're too thin. But anyway. What do you want to say, Apollo? What do you want to say, Apollo? Oh, Apollo's having a little bit of a spit. Oh. Right, I'm going to put them in the right order. There's 4 cards down, 5 cards down. They're all face down. Now, what did we say earlier when Neptune first came out? We're reprogramming our Philosopher's Stone. She's here. This is the first time. Mary the Jewess, Maria Prophetissima, she who understood the Philosopher's Stone. This is what you're being offered, is the chance to be empowered by your truth. And I love this woman. Remember, I say this every time. She wasn't the first woman alchemist. She was the first alchemist. Full stop. My stomach's rumbling with excitement now. So I'm just going to explain this symbol to you. She has an hourglass time. She understands how time works. She takes physical elements, gravel. She takes the physical and she transforms it in her heart into starlight. She has the North Node around her because she understands her destiny. And she is the triple goddess, but the moon is also in eclipse because she knows the power of eclipse frequencies. So we've got her in the middle, and she's 91. She's a completion and a new beginning. She's to start afresh, but she's got 2 cards either side. So let's see what we've got either side of her. Oh, goodness. We've got 13 again, 13, 13, 13. So this is Ophiuchus has come back. The bolt from the blue is the solar eclipse. It's many other things, but what I mean is it's going to link into you. It's going to connect. It's the cosmic snake, the thread of divine consciousness, which is to be empowered in your truth, to have found your own soul fully. And it's coming with Eris. It's reminding us that it's about that energy of 1331 people. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 3 13s and a reversal. It's coming into having control over rage and anger and fire, because fire is the first aspect of transforming your soul. We really are in a mirror today. So that's beautiful. I love this deck. And then the other 2 cards we've got, we're talking about the solar eclipse. So we have the solar eclipse, a galactic opportunity. This is a galactic opportunity. So Aquarius is a really interesting alchemical process, because this is the process before you become this. This is the final understanding of how to amplify, how to project and multiply all of this gravel down here into starlight. This is the process just before. Pisces frequency is when you are this energy, when you are capable of transformation. So Aquarius is about boosting, magnifying, increasing, empowering, honing your focus in this solar eclipse, priming yourself. It's spiritual aether. So that's this frequency, the cosmic thread of consciousness, the galactic thread coming down. And it's to be ready yourself for this energy of Aquarius. It's really, really beautiful and completely fascinating. And I love the deck. I want to lick it. because I like licking anything I like. Oh, Wassail Joyce Hartman. I'm not taking that one because it just flipped over. So, the first card that fell out, it's a time to waken to the truth of you. To waken up to your new essence. It's a really important frequency. Now we got a big splurge. But to be untamable, to know your freedom. Your freedom is to free yourself from ancestral bloodlines, to become your own true essence. Wassail el la violette, equilibrista cosmic. So, wild ox, again, going right back to the bison at the very beginning, free yourself on this solar eclipse to flow through to the next thing. Oi, Bilrost, Bifrost, the Hemfereld, the homeward journey, 77, the glittering pathway, home. Where is home? You, the seat of your soul. Your sacredness, your luminous warrior is where you're heading. You're heading to your Mary the Jewess frequency, your empowered self. And then we have pass through this Hertecker, change the heartache that you felt, because it's their heartache, not yours. And it ends with the spiritual aether, the fire, the fire, the pathway forwards. This is a really energizing. If you drink this one on rune water, it tends to heighten all of your senses. And so that might be something that you want to do on Apollo's column on the 3rd. And the 3rd is the day that Jupiter, Neptune will start to move its energy prograde or direct. So it sits stationary for about 3 days. So there's only one other part that we need to look at, and that's Ceres, Venus, and the moon. Because they're doing stuff. They're surrounding the planet in that D major chord that we played earlier. Thank you, Tanya. And do you know what? It is a really, I feel like that's a really beautiful energy. I hadn't done this reading yet because I always know when the right moment will be. And I needed to work on adding all these additional bits of information before coming to this. And it's just, I don't know what the 12 columns are going to be, or the 6 remaining God columns. I don't know what their stories are. I just know that they were laid out and that we will be doing it. But yeah, the eclipse is over Antarctica because it's, you know, frozen wastelands of the past, South Node area in many ways. Talking about not the energies that your molecules are caught with, but the true energies of where your destiny is. North Node as your shoulders and arms in the Mary the Jewess card. So let's look at there's 2 things I need to look at. Let's do this 145, which is the column of the moon, Venus, and Ceres that started its D major energy on the 8th when they came into they were in a perfect line originally on the 8th. They lined up, they corrected, and they brought up problems, especially in the stomach. And now they've shifted and they're forming a lovely triangle around the Earth. So we're going to look at that. So this is this pen's new and it's not working very well. 4424. So this is Moon, Venus, and Ceres, that D major chord. that's going to be there for a while. They're kind of, you know, as the Earth moves away from it, but they're there for this period. So also, I'm not taking that because I'm not concentrating. Also, on the solar eclipse, Sun and the Moon are at 12 degrees of Sagittarius. Mercury is at 15. And then you've got Venus and Pluto. Venus is about to overtake Pluto in Capricorn. Venus is at 22 degrees. Pluto's at 25. So she moves past, and then she goes retrograde on the 19th, and she moves back past. When she goes prograde again, she moves across again. So Venus has got a lot to do with this energy of the transformation. And that's got something to do with how we are able to love others. Series is about how we love ourselves. But so there's a lot of really important moments coming up. So I haven't had a drink of water throughout the whole thing. So Moon first. Let's have the A of the Moon. The A of the Moon, please. The A of the Moon. Oh, look. A burst of new emotions coming through the veil. Rainmaker, balancing emotions. So that links back into that completion of emotions because there's new emotional energies coming through the Moon. So Venus. Venus is taming the wind. Venus is changing the frequency, finding the self. There's something about, there's a confusion that calms, an energy that needs to be brought into a calming change. And then Ceres, go back to the very beginning. Ceres is the flow of thunder. Ceres is the energy of self-love that drives us forwards. 5-5, 5-6. This is a natural progress forwards. There's something about this, though. There's something about being almost hit and spun until you can tame that frequency and understand that new burst of emotions. It's like being hit with a new emotional flow. So let's see what the Alchemy of Astrology has to say. Oh, Salt 51, which, like 4 and 2, is a 6, a balance. This is materialization. This is fixed modalities. This is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Now, let me just, I need to check the stats. So the moon is in, well, at the moment, on the 1st of December, the moon will be in Scorpio, 0 degrees. But by the eclipse, it will be in 12 degrees. Then we have Venus, who is in Capricorn. And Ceres is in Gemini. So why are we getting a fixed modality? It's got something to do with, Gaia, Uranus in Taurus, because that is just above the 3 planets and the Earth. It's just coming down and they're surrounding it, but it's bringing that cosmic consciousness on top. It's materializing something, though. But what? What are we materializing? What are we materializing? So, purification. This is to cleanse. This is to bring us into a new frequency. Jupiter is the energy wings. It's the frequencies through which all other energies get cleansed. Jupiter moves home into Neptune on the 29th of December. So there's a lot of really important frequencies coming up. So there's something about preparing for some divine materialization. This is a 6 and a 9 that we've got here. There's something softening. There's an energy of something being expanded upon, but somehow softening, because he's moving into Pisces, and Pisces is house 12, and the sun and the moon are in house 12, and he will be joining Neptune, who's in house Pisces. So there'll be two rulers in Pisces for a while. So what else then, please, is materializing? I need to put another with that. We've got Moon in Aries. It's like purifying impulsiveness. So there's something very stabilizing about the D major chord that doesn't allow the fires to come. It's purifying that impulsive need to move forwards, being headstrong. And what's this one? Moon in Leo, explosive creativity. So changing us from an impulsive energy to a creative energy. It's interesting that they've all got a similar color fill. Oh, the microphone just fell over. It's got bendy legs and they move. So there's something really important about blood flowing. It's purifying the blood, materializing your essence from the blood, cleaning the blood to resonate totally as yourself, no longer impulsive with ego frequencies, but creative with self frequencies. The energy of calming yourself down, digesting the truth of yourself. Leo is about the stomach as well, when the sun's there. And we've got the heart, the aorta, the blood. Heart, Venus. The blood and the aorta is in both. The change of frequency of the blood coursing through your veins. So we'll get some runes on this. Where are they? Oh, there. No, there. So, oh, look, there's so many cards in these two decks, and yet it's giving us these energies to really stab a message home to us. It came in reverse. It's time to get down from the static frequencies. Everything about you changes when you release and purify those ancestral stories. When you stand in your own frequency, and that does echo back in that way that you didn't think I'd explained well enough, into your true essence, your true eroticism, your desires for how you move through life. And wake up. This is the point where we wake up. Then we got a little pile. So again, we've got leaf. Leaf is to unfurl, to extend, to become something new that's attached to your personal Yggdrasil tree. And we've got support. The spirits. So here you are being supported by the moon, by Venus, and by Ceres. They're supporting you so that you can unfurl into something new. And then we have Yor, which is Jormungandir, the world serpent. So this is the point at which they're giving you this frequency to awaken your divine cosmic galactic consciousness, serpent, the Ophiuchus frequency, and you have a destiny then with the world serpent, with the earth, with the song lines that you've purified because you're not resonating in ancestral frequency anymore. And it ends with the Aether fire, the two serpents connecting. I don't want to say it's Kundalini, but it's very much like in your heart, you will have a chance to combine the two Ubros or Ouroboros snakes and bring them together into one materializing self frequency of balancedness. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's that little bit. There's one more bit which I forgot about. We'll do that next. They're the runes. They go in the rune deck. So you're having fun. Because I can't do anything to change it if you're not. So if you are enjoying this, you can send me donations and tips to PayPal me at Rustling Around. I'm sure that that's been said by Penelope and people. But if you can't, it doesn't matter. But if you can, it's beautiful. Right, so. Oh, yeah, I'm going to shuffle. I haven't even told you what we're doing. So the other thing we need to look at is on the 1st, because there's been really complicated energy since the 1111 portal. You know, I didn't do a reading on it because you know what? When I looked at the charts, I was like, no one needs to know about that shit. Yeah, like the video too. Look, we've got 86 people and 83 likes. So we need to look at on the 1st, there's a beautiful energy where Neptune and Mars trine, and Neptune and Venus sextile, and Venus and Mars sextile. So there's this beautiful, wonderful energy of really, I want to say seductive. So I'm going to say seductive. It's a very seductive energy around stationary Neptune. So I probably should have put that down as 157.00 because I actually started talking about it before writing the time down. I shouldn't have done that. So just to recap on that. So there's Neptune and Mars go into a nice trine on the 1st. Really beneficial, positive. And then Neptune and Venus sextile and Venus and Mars sextile. So we want to know what they're doing. So, sorry, it's all kind of positioned. So Neptune. Ooh, dark ancestral magic. Dark ancestral magic of 12 frequency. So Venus then. Venus is the middle. She's the apex. Not predator. She might be. So actually Mars. I'm going to do Mars at the other end, then put Venus in the middle. So Mars. See, look. Mars. Let go of the ancestors. 44. 4844. There's also this card, but I'm putting it back. It's about coming into your personal power. It's about transforming DNA. I'll put it there. I'll put it there. Didn't tell me off. And then Venus. She's taming the wind again. She was taming the wind just now. She's bringing stability to ancestral frequencies. to rewrite your DNA and empower you. Fascinating. So let's see. What I want to ask is Neptune and Mars. I want the energy of their trine, first of all. Oh, I'm sorry. Here is Neptune, and we're looking at Neptune working with Mars in a trine. And it's something ancestral. It's dealing with ancestral frequencies. Absolutely, for sure. So, I've got some cards. What do we have? Ooh, looky. So we have rot, you rotters. So, rot is to decompose. And that's what this trine is about, decomposing the dark old ancestral frequencies. So, but observing them for what they are, you can't not have the ancestral frequencies, because they're the pull on your ego, they're the pull on your physicality that's in your DNA. They're the things that lead you astray in many ways. And they're the things that need to change to be recomposed, but they have to be rotted away. You have to be able to release them. It's interesting that the ancestral 4-4 and then 8-0, it's an echo, and she's throwing it away. Throw away what doesn't belong to your frequency. So that's part of the trine. And then we have Moon in Capricorn. I want to say this has got some connection to the 1st of January. There's a stellium briefly at about 11:57 p.m. GMT UTC on the 1st of January. When we shift into 2022, the moon moves into Capricorn and it joins the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Pluto. But Mercury is right at the very end, so it's kind of taking in the whole energy around this kind of Pluto-Neptune darkness, because at the moment Neptune and Pluto are in a constant sextile. It's like I keep thinking they're sitting in a tree. KISSING. So this is inner values. What will be your new inner values at that point? So this is the energy. This trine is beginning to bring you from that darkness into the light. Remember, this is the 1st of December. No. Yeah, this is the 1st of December. This is that moment when Neptune turns stationary for 3 days before moving forwards. And this is that moment to understand the new inner values. This is about joints, the spine, standing up, having a new backbone, joints, knees, being able to walk forwards. So now we're going to look at Neptune sextile Venus. Neptune sextile Venus. That's like hundreds. But we're going to do them. 4 face down, 1 face up. What do we have here? We have the earth, the universal seed. This is a new seeding point for your soul. It's the grid lines, the song lines. You're preparing that frequency that we just talked about, where the Jormungandr destiny is defined. This is kind of like the frequency of the earth ophicus kissing the cosmic ophicus. And this is another 8. It's a 2 and a 6. So what do we have here? purify this. This is the moment when we purify the old ancestral energies. It's a 13. Moving from this 12, this dark, static, ancestral pull on your gravity, pull on your molecules, to purifying the seed, purifying the land. And then we have Moon in Scorpio, Queen Cups and Boil. Oh, look at these. Are they in? Yeah. So Moon in Scorpio is emotional exchanges. And yet this is about not speaking. So there's something in this energy frequency where Neptune and Venus have been at odds energetically. So it's really about the ancestors, the fog that needs to be tamed, the wind, the swirling fog that needs to be tamed. But that couldn't happen because the ancestors were not talking to between these two energies. The ancestors were kind of acting as this frequency, and then Venus needed to bring these emotional exchanges, but you couldn't see through the fog, the confusion, the delusions that we live by, that the ego held on to, created by ancestors. There's something about being able to bring these two energies together, and there's a sense of boiling, scalding, emotional heat. It's like saying you don't need to go in there to thank your ancestors for crapping on you. Because they've been holding a fog up, not deliberately, but it's like this is that sense of a divine fury, a rage that needs to come across. But there's something, sextile energy is very flirty. So it's something about how we go in to purify this. And there's a desire to scald, but there's also a desire to just release, to just let go. Because it's interesting, we've done that. So that's about this non-communication between ancestor frequencies and the molecules within our body that we can't fully understand. Now we're moving on to the sextile between Venus and Mars. And, you know, they're famous lovers that have a lot of fallouts. But Mars is that energy that we talked about releasing on the day before this. No, on the day before. The day before, when we were meant to be purifying our luminous warrior. So it's talking about how that energy, you can scald them, but you might not have to. Let's see what this says. So we're looking now at the frequency of Mars and Venus in sextile on the 1st of December. Yeah, it is about just releasing. It's not that easy, is it? Sun's coming out here. It's nice. So come on, we've got one at the moment. This is an energy that's fermenting. This has been fermenting for ages. We're back to that energy. It's referring to, this is the trigger setup for the 1st of January. Because we've got Moon and Sun in Scorpio, in Capricorn. This is the 1st of December. This energy sets up the purification process. You can seethe and simmer a little bit. Right, we have another one here. Transformation, arsenic. The poison, the ancestral molecular DNA poison, is actually the thing responsible for your swan transformation. It's the energy that will crystallize your pathway forwards. It's so beautiful. Wassail doggy daycare. Yeah, fog delusions, illusions, confusions. That's what Neptune's favorite game is, but it's clearing. So, right. Oh, that's a big spillage. This is about seducing your anger, seducing your own anger into a sacred rage that will quell the fury. It's a divine fury, but it quells that energy and allows the transformation. And then we have a little pile here. It's just like it's having that little joke with us again. Look, when the retrograde ends, you can remove something. You can remove the ancestral frequencies. Wassail Cindy Brook. So you can change those frequencies. Oh, this is interesting. Look at that as symbols. From the retrograde, you can then dissolve. You can dissolve the gold. The gold is your molecular DNA connection to your ancestors. You needed it. It had to be there, but now it's time that it gets boiled away. So we're removing, and there is something that feels corrosive about it, but that's because you're not allowing its truth. And it's interesting what the next card is. So coming into a trine. This is a trine. It's a trine between Neptune and Mars, the fog of the ancestors and the anger. And it's the Venus at the apex that brings in this ability to harmonize and neutralize this old DNA energy, to change your energy. And it's ending the very final card with you coming into your power again, reminding you that you are your own philosopher's stone. You are the ability to make sure what actually happens, what's real, what's your pathway forwards, what's your truth. So it's Neptune working in conjunction with the ancestors, lifting a fog on energies that we feel may be part of a despair and a downfall in us, but actually it being highlighting the retrieval of our true essence. That's what's coming. It's really beautiful. Wassail Damien Plough from Melbourne. Yeah, I feel like it's been holding us all back from our power, Damien. Seriously. Wassail Carolina Bella. I'm just popping these back, and I'm just gonna see what Neptune wants to say at the very end before we tag away. So let's just pop these back. Yeah, do you know, Kathy, a lot of people have said, Anna Pink said that she wants to have the Mary the Jewess as a tattoo. But I would say, if you're going to have it, wait until Debbie Angel redraws it, because she'll draw it in a much nicer way. Whereas I've done it a bit clumsy. So Neptune, let's just give him a bell. So Neptune, my old mucker. There he is, look, supporting us through this whole process. Neptune, what do you want to say at the end? What do you want to say at the end? Spiral. coming into new frequencies, everything increasing, everything enhancing, everything growing from the new seed, the universal seed that develops once those ancestral energies are released. And where are we going? Abundance, corn, abundance of life, abundance of spirit, abundance of soul. And there's something in this card that has an energy of the ancestors applauding you, like they're all little weird maze creatures. So I'm just going to put Alchemy of Astrology on it. Alchemy of Astrology. Oh, it's also it's 50-10. 50-10, and that's a 60. That's a 6. It's coming into balance. Oof. So we have very odd combination, Pluto and Hygeia. So 23 is at 25. So this is the energy of, I guess, the transformation around Capricorn time. So what we're setting up now will have a huge body transformative health, bringing preventative medicine. It's kind of like bringing in, and that starts on the 1st of January, something interesting. And there's the 3/8 talking again about song lines, 11, transforming the song lines. It's bringing they're showing me like teeing off a new beginning. 2022 is a new beginning, and it's a lot to do with us standing upright in our own frequency. And we have solve and palace. Solve things through negotiations, and that's talking about us next year. We will enter into negotiations. This is 9-9. 9-9. I love 99. Someone wrote just now that there were 99 people in here, and 9393 was there just then. There were 93 watchers and 93 thumbs up. So this is to resolve and to sort of waken to a new energy in 2022. This is what's coming, starting on the 1st. And then we have Mars. So we're negotiating with our molecules, with our ancestral anger for new changes. It's just repeating that message. And then we have Magnet. And this is another 9. 999. Magnet is the universal soul. It's like the frequency, we're all coming into a new energy next year that redefines, that magnetizes the universal soul into something else. And this is attraction, and it's erotic entanglements. So the message is returning us to our own erotic truth somehow. I need to know what we're attracting. Sorry. I need to know. Yeah, 9 is the sacred number in Nikola Tesla, because you can create all the other single digit numbers by adding them together, but you can't make 9. So 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, 4 + 4 is 8, 8 + 8 is 16. You add those two digits together, you get 7. 7 and 7 is 14, which gives you a 5 when you add them together. 5 and 5 is 10. and that brings you back to 1. So then you've got 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. So then the missing numbers are 3, 6, and 9, which is why they're the magic code. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. You add that together and you get 3. So we've now got every single number by adding themselves to each other, but not the 9. And that's why 9 is divine. It's the missing frequency that needs to come in and doesn't always. So let's just ask, 'cause I can't bear the idea of there being erotic attractions and erotic entanglements without knowing something about it. What's going on? What's going on? It's the year in which we harvest. It's the year of corn. This is an amazing year. And it is all about twos. It is all about twos. Because it's 2022. So, come on. What's going on? I didn't mean to do it with this deck. I might have to do it with the other deck as well, because there's a lot more sexual cards. What's this going on next year, Roonies? Look, it's another divine 9. The emotional bleed is being repaired, is being mended. All of these energies this year that have been bleeding out of us, ancestral echoes, all of those bloodline stories, they mend. Next year it mends. Next year is a year of harvest. Perth, we're surging. We're going into cosmic lifting. And then we have 4642. We have Was. New passion, new frequencies of sap, to be impassioned, to be alive with our, I guess, with our new erotic truth. And then that lights our belly, the day star, candle. We become the frequency of our truth, because that's what this whole eclipse tunnel has been about, finding your true scent, your true frequency. So let me just pop those back. I still need to ask the other deck. What's this erotic? What's this magnet? What's this erotic entanglement? Scorpio frequency. It's something deeply sexual. It's oh, that's too many. We'll just have that one. Apparently there's one stuck to the table, so we might have to look at it. Sensual nights, people. Moon in Taurus. This is nodal. This is the nodes. The eclipses, the next eclipse coming after this one is a solar eclipse with the new moon in Taurus, sensual nights, 30th of April. And that's interesting as well, because on the 5th of April is when Mars finally reaches Aquarius and changes its tune. That's interesting. It's upside down. The wounds are healed. We heal wounds. Chiron in reverse. This is a 9 again. There's a lot of divine energy coming in, and Chiron is 22. You heal the wounds through coming together. And that doesn't just mean sexual partners. It means we heal the wounds of everyone by coming together. But there is undoubtedly some sexual healing, because at the end of the day, we've just spent, you know, a very long period of time in a lockdown where people don't even want to touch each other. So you need to be a little bit thankful for the very young Generation Z who are out there having their first kisses and their first little fun fumbles, because it's their life and they're determined to go with it. So That's enough reading. Let's have another sip of water. So, Wassail David Jeep. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Yeah, do you know what? I really love Generation Z. I think they're going to be really fascinating. They're like a universal seed. They're bringing some wonderful new energy, because you need to remember that Generation Z were born after the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, the generational conjunction that was in the last Earth frequency in Taurus, and they matched the boomers, the Zoomers. So the boomers were born the last time in 1940 when Saturn and Jupiter went into conjunction, and yet they have completely different attitudes. They're in fixed Earth, but they're in a fixed Earth, the Zoomers, where the Earth is about to transform, whereas the boomers were born in a frequency where they would not let a single part of their philosophy change. So they suppressed the frequency of Generation X, and then the millennials, and then they're even trying to do it to a certain extent with the Zs, with the Zoomers, but it won't work. It's, their boomers frequency is over, and they need to let go of that. That was their ancestral ties holding them to a world that was changing around them so fast, and it frightened them. Thank you, people. Yeah, they were scarred by the wars, and I do understand that. But then they entered into that booming generation of rapid growth and change and all modernism, and then they just took it all back, and they were frightened by it. And I do understand it. I'm not criticizing them. I just feel that they need to understand that their energy's gone, and that it's time for other energies. What is tone 13? I need to look it up for you, because I'm not fully up on the galactic things. It will be a frequency of unstructured freedom. It might have something to do with the note B. I'm just picking up now. Look, let's ask the cards. Let's ask the cards. What's tone 13? What's tone 13? What's tone 13? That's really interesting. It's a sextile frequency. It's flirty. It's friendly. It's an energy of reaching out. And then you have Moon in Aquarius. So it's also an energy. This is interesting. That's 6 and that's 9. It's an emotional freedom. It's an energy where you no longer, as I said, 13 will be something that takes away boundaries. And then it has 57. So that's 12. It's emotional creativity, explosion of creativity. It's about a new energy coursing through your entire system. It's about breaking free. And it's also interesting. I haven't looked next year. Some years have 13 full moons. There's a lot of moons turning up. So tone 13 will have something to do with moon cycles, because this reminds me of Wendhorn. And Wendhorn is the frequency of being unbound from emotions in the runes. Is there any way to sync with the divine timing of all this? A way to drop into the flow? I would say, like, that's why I do the columns. That's a way of helping people find a focus through this. I would say write down, journal, what you want to move forwards to. I mean, we will be doing a reading on the solar eclipse because that will require a moon ritual, but it will be a double fire ritual. So we'll look at how we work with that. But most of the time it's difficult, but you kind of have to try and avoid 12 frequency to go into the flow. So 12 frequency is a diary, is being on time, is doing, I'm not saying be late to things, but what I mean is try and avoid filling a diary with things, because that's really what lockdown gave us this chance to do, was to go into a kind of flow where you didn't have to fill a diary with all the things and tasks and jobs and meetings and dinners and friends and all of that. It's something about, I know I'm lucky at the moment, you know, I'm traveling around and my job is doing this, but I like to wake up in the morning and just genuinely read the energies of the world around me and decide what needs to be done each day and flow with that. Because you can wake up some days and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do loads and loads of work on the runes, or I'm going to sit down and do loads of things. And then another day you wake up and you just think, I need to just go out and walk in the town. Or it's about trying to find a flow, but life previously doesn't allow us that. It is very difficult. I understand that. I mean, for a very long time, when people say to me, will you come and do something on a certain day, I go, well, I'll try to. Because the problem is that when it gets to the point of doing something, then I need to not do it, because I don't want to do the energy that they've said in 5 days' time. I have to change that. Yeah, exactly. Every time you get overschedule yourself is when you get stuff all done, and not for me. I'm like, I might do one thing a day. I mean, that one thing that I might choose to do might take several hours, but I don't like to overdo it. I mean, I like to focus properly. Just been told to pull a card. It's North Node. Know your destiny. That's been the message. That's the arms and the shoulders of Mary the Jewess. Yes, Icarus. When you let go of your schedule, magic happens because you're in the flow. Yeah, but Petra the Spark, Wassail. It's, you know, it is that frequency. Oh, sorry, I read the wrong name. It moved. It was Alberto said it. But the burst of crazy productive energies, go with the flow that day, and then the next day, if you don't want to, just sit and put your feet up. You know, we need, one of the things which I think we don't allow anymore, and it's particularly true now, I don't know in certain other countries, but originally, when the virus first arrived, people were given money to have time off because you couldn't go around spreading the virus. And now they're doing a thing where you don't get time off, paid time off, and so people feel obliged to have to kind of go to work. And so we've kind of made it very difficult for people to live in a world where, you know, difficult energies come up and we have to step outside of ourselves and take time off. And what we're not being given a chance to do, which I think is so important, is convalesce. I don't think that anyone is given the chance to really get over illnesses. They're still trying to snap fingers to get people back to the workplace. And we just need to be honest that people work better if they're fully healthy. Look, there it is, that impatience, that molecular anger. What's for lunch? I haven't decided yet, but I got new pans. Oh, look, Juno, relationships merging. That's at 222 frequency. It's an 11 in the earth. Yeah, I haven't decided what's for lunch. I know I want to make a flapjack because I've got a tray bake. But I just need to go and get some something to go with the coconut oil to make the sort of nice oily taste. A flapjack in Britain is oats baked with dates and bananas and honey, crispy rice and things. I just feel like I need something delicious and healthy and sweet to occasionally nibble on. I'm not a great lover of sweet things, but sometimes it's nice. When your lucky point is in Taurus, they're very difficult energies. It's about because the parts of fortune, they're all to do with old Arabic calculations, and they shift and move all the time. So it can mean that your fortune takes place when that energy coincides, but it also just can mean that every time planets pass over that part of your birth chart, it allows that planet's energy to kind of amplify. So, you know, if your part of luck was at 7 degrees Taurus, when something passes 7 degrees Taurus, it gets a lucky amplification. Yeah, you see, look, still recovering from total exhaustion. And that's the thing, you know, convalescing is such a beautiful old word. And I think it's a word we need to just bring out again and just say, you know, people need time to convalesce. People need time to restore their energy frequencies, to get their life back into balance. Things don't change. Do you make oatmeal and then make a patty, or is it a batter? No, it's not batter. It's I've actually, there's a recipe for it. Maybe I can find it. One moment. So here we go. It's on my website. It's a plant-based version, but you can make it with butter if you're doing dairy. And it's kind of a tray bake, and it's quite big oats, and you mix them together with kind of sticky syrups and butters, and then you spread it out in a tray bake pan, and you bake it very lightly in the oven. You don't want it crispy, you kind of want it soft and oaty. Yeah, the singing does go through your hands because I have a habit of putting my vocal sounds inside my body so that they resonate in the molecules. So there's the recipe has got lots of pictures, and it's, as I say, you can do it with butter rather than coconut oil and weird vegetable fats. I mean, the point of it is really flapjacks were originally just very buttery oats in their simplest form. There's a very nice recipe on my website for chocolate brownies that are plant-based. Donations are greatly appreciated, but it doesn't matter if you don't have the chance to do it, it's all very cool. Yeah, it's worth. I suppose the other thing I should just give you, if I can find it quickly, I should give you a page. Oh, blimey. Let's just, I'm just going to find you a page on my website that will teach you the planetary alignments and the body parts. Just give me a sec because I can't see anything. So there's a website page that will teach you which planets link with which body parts and which energies when you want to do sound healing. Yeah, that sounds delicious, Caroline. Oats and dates. I've got lots of dates downstairs. I just need to go and get some bananas. So the sexual healing part is a lot to do with, I would say it's to do with the kind of the energy of Venus and Mars is a kind of old-fashioned sort of incompatibility in lovemaking. And I think a lot of it's to do with we don't educate people on how to have good sex. And good sex is not just a physical rutting, and it's not some kind of ticking of certain boxes and touching certain parts of a body. It's a kind of form of tantric frequency where you have to make a total and utter energetic connection. So you can lock into somebody's eyes to read into their soul, and then you can explore touching certain parts of their body or just lightly stroking them and gathering when they have a twitch or a response, and then your brain has to kind of connect and build up a map of the person's sensual triggers, so that as you go through, you can almost have this moment where you connect so strongly with someone that you can go to touch them, and you telling them, I'm going to touch you at this particular part, and you can eventually bring them into a spasm before you even touch them, because you're connecting energetically. Yeah, it is about teaching each other what turns us on, but it's also, it is, Parry, and it's about being able to read somebody's energy by you exploring them as a complete body and consciousness. And it's not just your hands and your fingers and parts of your body leaning in and being all rutty. It's about you enveloping them totally in erotic frequencies. Joyce, that's so funny, because earlier I saw the comment, it was like Egyptian sex maniac because it had changed the typing. I don't particularly know about Egyptian sex magic, but I know that sex is very magical when it's done in a fully sensitive and erotic tantric form. No, I did loads of casual sex forever, and do you know what? The problem is, it's really boring. You know, it's fun. I love exploring people's bodies, but no one's capable of doing that energy back. And so every time I would have casual sex, they'd all want more, and I'd be like, I'm not coming back and playing with you again. You're boring. Yeah, it's a soul-to-soul connection. And the only word I can put on it at the moment is tantric that people can understand. But I would call it really something like, it's kind of like energetic soul sex. It's something deeply magical. It's controlling or manipulating or enticing or stimulating their entire auric field. It's not just flesh. That's the most beautiful sex. Yeah, I think we're all going to be trying that spiritual way soon. I think that's what's coming next year. I think there's a kind of beautiful sensual, erotic, sexual revolution that's coming. You know, because for a long time, even us sitting here having this conversation would be seen as wrong and rude and so immoral. And that's the problem. By never discussing the truth of emotions and relationships, we've allowed the frequency of toxic abuse to carry on because people don't know. They don't know better. They don't know the true answers. You know, we should be able to teach each other the truth of beautiful pleasure, because, you know, yeah, soul sex. And it is a different thing. It's, you know, it is possible to give somebody an orgasm without touching them, but to be energetically involved with them. Yeah, I do use sounds in sex, my vocal sounds, because I can use them to stimulate the energy fields in people. Hello, sorry I'm late. Was on a live webinar with Steve Nobel. I know Steve, he used to live down the road from me. And it was really weird because I followed his meditations for a bit because he has the most amazing voice. And then when I joined his website and it said his address, I was like, he lived about 20 doors along the road from me. So any more questions? Wassail, Tracy. You missed us talking about how you can have beautiful tantric sex next year. Yeah, see, bloodline clearing, see? It's the same theme. We're on it. He knows what's going on there. The light's suddenly gone very clear, shall we say. Bunches of oats. I love oats. Oats are very good. You know, if you want to make people a really nice Christmas present this year, get some little bits of like muslin fabric and get some nice thick oats, and then buy some, you can or grow them if you've got them in your gardens, but herbs, and you make up a little tiny bag of oats and herbs, and then you tie or stitch and you usually you put a loop on so that you can hang it over the tap, and as you run the hot water into a bath, you allow it to go through, and it perfumes the water and it makes the water soft, which is very beautiful for the skin. The rune deck's already available for printing. It's in the link in the description box. Karma Control TV. It's the alchemy one that's not available yet, because I've got to finish writing all the words on each of the cards, and it's slow. Yeah, I seem to end up talking about sex a lot. I am very good at it. How do you start or shift into this way? Into what way, Tracy May? Wassail, Emil Kessler, Wassail Yetikelko. One more voice sound healing. Okay, well, what we do is I'm going to shuffle these cards, and then I'm going to turn them until the first sound healing tone comes. Unless one of those is it. No, it's Taurus and Chakra. So I'm just going to count through. Oh, it's E. It's the sun. It's saying we need more of the solar eclipse sound. Yeah, the sound of a voice is really important. Sounds that we make are very important. There's a lot of people who you hear. When I was in Cancun, there was a woman living in the flat below, and she was being spanked, and she was making very disembodied frequencies. And it's no different to when you hear tennis players kind of go, if you're going to put a sound behind an energy of power or an energy of eroticism, it needs to be in the body. It's not something that just comes from your throat. It needs to be, you know, a tennis player who's kind of doing, is wasting energy. If you want to hit and make a sound, it needs to be inside the body to activate the power of your solar plexus. And I've often thought a lot of tennis players wearing themselves out with all that. But anyway, so yeah, this woman's spanking erotic sounds were also disembodied. They weren't pleasure, they weren't enjoyment, they were spectacle. And it really was an energy frequency where she wanted the neighborhood to hear. And that's not personal, erotic, beautiful. That's just unnecessary. Yeah, sound is very protective. And they use a lot of those big bells in the Japanese temples as too, Icarus, don't they? So let's do this. Let's do this E of the solar plexus to end. Oh, look, 1555 right now. The time. So there you go. That's made me a bit parched. So put that back in the right. That's weird. There's a rune up the wrong way. Yeah, there's a whole series of things where something can be sensual, even if it is something like spanking. But so often people don't understand the truth behind the eroticism, and they just engage in very uninteresting sex. It's a pleasure to be here. I am hungry. Always hungry after a reading. So there's so many things about the human body that are totally beautifully erotic, and it's different for all different people. And that's also something wonderful to celebrate. But I personally just think most people are rubbish at sex because no one talks honestly about sex. I always used to have a little joke because I would quiz people about sex, because in many ways gay sex is about a man pleasuring a man, and your own body, so you kind of assume the other body. And that's the same for women having sex with women. They understand the body. And I think the problem in most sex is that men don't understand women and women don't understand men, because no one talks honestly about how to pleasure the other. And so it gets held up as a mystery. But one of the things which I always find amusing is, if a woman has bad sex, she'll tell her girlfriends had terrible sex. Whereas if a man has bad sex, he would never admit that, because he would assume that his friends would think it was all his fault. So there's not even a truth that gets shared among themselves. And I think it's men that need educating most. Yeah, and Donna, that's the whole point of me saying earlier, it's possible to engage in someone's energetic field so that you don't even touch them, but the anticipation of you touching them is more sensual than even being touched. And eye contact, absolute eye to eye, deep soul contact. You see, there's quite often a correlation between Donna, hot chocolate and sex. Right, so I think at 3 hours, I really need to call a halt. Because there are people that moan about me doing slightly too long of videos. But once I'm here with you all, it's fun. So I will see you all very soon. We're 20 seconds off 3 hours. So Wassail, everybody, and thank you for joining me, and thank you for all the thumbs up. Wassail!